So, since Tales of Arise has a release date now, September 27th, I thought I'd go ahead and predict the future of gaming. Okay, so now this, yeah, I'm gonna need you to follow me on this one. So, to make it as easy to follow as possible, I'm using the greatest tool known to man, Microsoft Paint, to illustrate my point. Okay, so here we go. So, Final Fantasy 16 is Tales of Berseria. Is Tales of Berseria. You know, you got the edgy protagonist avenging their dead brother. They kind of look alike too. Um, and Tales of Arise is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because you got the waifu bestowing a fire sword upon the protagonist. So we know this much, okay, that Final Fantasy 16 is actually Tales of Berseria, and Tales of Arise is actually Xenoblade 2. So that begs the question, what will Xenoblade 3 be? And I'll tell you. Xenoblade 3 will be Persona 5. It will take place in a modern day school setting, and until, the final chapter of the game where everything is revealed to be a computer simulation or something, crafted by the third Aegis, which is not Elvis, because that theory's dumb. Instead, the third Aegis all along will be the planet Mira from Xenoblade Chronicles X. See, that's why New Los Angeles survived the White Whale crash, even though all their life support systems came out, because actually the planet they crashed on was the third Aegis all along. Boom, there. It makes perfect sense. So Xenoblade 3 will be a computer simulation created by Mira, somewhere in the planet's core or whatever. It will be Persona 5. So then that questions what will be Persona 6. I'll tell you. It will be JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean. Now, it will take place in a prison, and have a female protagonist, obviously. I mean, how could it be anything else? But there's a problem with this. And that is because JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean is not a JRPG. And if you notice, there's one thing in common here. They're all JRPGs. JRPGs are becoming other JRPGs, forming into a JRPG coalition, coalescing into a single Stardust burst of destruction. So we need a JRPG in order to complete Persona 6. It can't just be JoJo Part 6. I mean, So instead we're going to use polymerization. All right, we're going to do Yu-Gi-Oh! Fusion with Nier Automata. And why? I'll tell you why. You may recall Yoko Taro said that if Persona ever makes its way into the high fantasy territory of genres, then Nier will die. And why is this important? I'll tell you why. Project Refantasy. Project ReFantasy, which is being developed by Atlus's Persona team. And, if Catherine can be part of the Shin Megami Tensei verse because it was made by a Persona team, then so can ReFantasy. So it's all part of Persona. It's all part of Shin Megami Tensei. It's all in the verse. Okay, so then that begs the question. Now we have to figure out. Okay, so Nier will die now, or it will cause Nier to force it out of its sci-fi fantasy niche, ecological niche it has found itself in, and it will find its way into the modern day crime drama fantasy territory. Now this will completely upset the entire JRPG ecosystem, because after that, so Nier 3 will be Yakuza 7. Okay? Persona 6 will be Nier Automata. Will be Yakuza. So then Nier 3, which I think it would be the third entry in the series. I think there's only Nier Automata is the second one, right? It will be Nier 3 will be Yakuza 7, or Yakuza Like a Dragon, as it's known in the West. Now, this will force Yakuza out of its current place in modern-day crime drama fantasy into the item crafting JRPG, and it will become Atelier Ryza 2. Now, Atelier Ryza, like I said, the whole ecosystem has been upsetted, all because Persona used polymerization to fuse itself with Part 6 and Nier Automata. Yoko Taro wasn't kidding. This destroys the whole ecosystem. Persona, Shin Megami Tensei Persona, is an invasive species. So this will force Atelier out of the item creation JRPG into the Monster Collection JRPG. And it will become Pokemon. Or, Yokai Watch, Fossil Fighters. But those are both dead. And even if Yokai Watch isn't dead in Japan, it's probably dead here because the Level 5's localization branch shut down, so we don't even know if we're gonna get Yokai Watch 4 or Megaton Musashi or Inazuma 11 Aries, which is now Inazuma 11 Road to Great Heroes, which has Aries content, even though Aries was never a thing, but they made the Aries anime. It's a whole mess. So anyway, that's gonna force what's gonna happen to Pokemon. I mean, how can it not be the Monster Collection genre? I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's gonna go into the historical fantasy genre, where Nobunaga's ambition is. And it's already doing this with Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, see, if you thought that this was just a whole bunch of conspiracy theories, and that I was just spouting who knows what, there's your proof right there, because it's already happening, because Pokemon Legends Arceus is coming out in 2022. Now what's going to become of Nobunaga's ambition? Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to become It's going to go from historical fantasy to just pure medieval Japanese fantasy. Like how most fantasy is European fantasy. This will be Japanese fantasy, or Eastern fantasy. Which it's already kind of leaning towards that. There was with the Samurai Warrior series, and in fact, it had a Pokemon crossover, Pokemon Conquest. So it's already, like I said, it's already happening. It's already happening. My predictions are already coming to pass. This is fact. You can't. You can't. You can't refute it because it happens already. So anyway, now medieval Japan will eventually become modern day Japan. So then that will give birth to manga, and the greatest manga of all time is Dragon Ball, which will eventually lead to Dragon Quest, one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. Now, Dragon Quest doesn't give a fuck about what anyone else is doing, so they will purely stay in their high fantasy, European fantasy, medieval European fantasy spot that they're going, regardless of what everyone else is doing. Final Fantasy 16 copies Berseria Tales copies Xenoblade copies Persona. Dragon Quest doesn't fucking care. They stick to their roots no matter what. Which brings us full circle again back to Final Fantasy 16. Now, there is one thing missing from the puzzle, and that there is one more step after the present, and that's the future, which is why all of this is going to build up to a Mega Man Battle Network revival, reboot game, which will be called Mega Man Battle Network Execute. It will be an amalgamation of all 6 games. It will be a reboot of the series, basically, trying to tell the story from all 6 games and trying to fit all 6 stories into one game. It's going to be a narrative mess, but most interestingly enough about it is that it's going to feature online multiplayer, and in online multiplayer you'll be able to customize your own Navi. Now, this sounds like a lot for just, a multiplayer feature, but actually, what's going to happen is that it's actually, you can change, when you change your Navi's appearance, it's actually just reskinning Mega Man. So yeah, it's actually not that difficult, and then you can change the name, give it whatever name you want, select the element and the effect of the Mega Buster. It's all very simple. But yes, that is the future of the gaming industry right there, clear as day. I don't see how you could think anything else. You might as well just call me Nostradamus, because I just predicted everything, and it will all lead up to the glorious return of Mega Man Battle Network. That has been my TED Talk. Thank you for coming. I'll be here all week. Try the veal.